Welcome back to your daily dose of dopamine. I am here with Greg Richer, and we're talking all things Parkinson's. Greg, to catch people up before we jump into our topic, give us the kind of the baseball card breakdown. How long you've been diagnosed, and what you do in the community there where you are in Florida.
Sure. I was 55 when I first noticed my pinky finger would not stop moving. It would just twitch,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Fuck.
hey, I'm telling you to stop,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't. And so I went to my doctor. The doctor initially said, oh, that's benign essential tremor. Don't worry about that. La da da. Well, by the next year at the same time, now my hand was tremoring, and I'm purposely doing that. I don't tremor that bad. And my hand was tremoring, and I said, "What's up with this?" And so we go to the internet and read up a bunch of stuff. Oh, you were athletic as a kid and you had some sports injuries with your shoulders. So it's probably nerve damage in your shoulders compounded with la da da. I bought that. Well, finally, my daughter was getting married, and everybody's talking about, oh, the flowers of her wedding smell so tremendously good. And I'm like, I don't smell any flowers. And then I thought to
There's
myself, when's the last time I smelled something?
Yeah, and that is a huge cardinal sign is the loss of sense of smell, right? And so you said you were 55, and how old are you now?
I'm 68.
So
So
you've
I've
lived,
had it
yeah,
14 years. Yeah.
14 years, yeah. And so people have a little bit of a background. And then just briefly, what do you do there in Florida? What, because you're a big advocate, obviously are an author. We've got that link as well, but you're a support group leader, and tell me about that.
Yeah. I have a support group called 3085 Thrive. By the way, we have a website called 3085thrive.com if people would like to see anything. Um, but our support group 30 and 85 is simply the longitude and latitude of Panama City Beach, where I live. And thrive is what I intend to do with my life.
I love that you,
Uh,
yeah, having an intention, and obviously you're a purpose-based guy. So, you put that there. People who tend to go awash, in my experience, whether it's Parkinson's or anything else, they don't seem to have that foundation. You do. And, people can find out more in your books. You've got a great story, and I know more of it's coming out, which is awesome. Thank you for giving us just the foundation there. We were talking about at the end of our last episode this relatively new attention put onto delusions and hallucinations. You mentioned Ryan Reynolds' campaign with Acadia, more to Parkinson's, which I think is brilliantly tight and helps get people to lean into more than the physical symptoms. What is your take on this whole more to Parkinson's meaning? Because there's more to that than just the hallucinations, delusions, too.
sure. Well, I think with Parkinson's, um, people tend to, I think in America, you don't want to be sick.
Sure.
I hate to say there's a stigma against it, but there sort of is. People are like, oh, is Parkinson's contagious?
Yeah, I think you're right.
You know, and you're like, yeah, if I shake my hand on your hand, that doesn't mean I like you. That means I have Parkinson's and you're going to have it in less than 3 years.
It's the old
And
Catholic
that's
Church
right.
spinning out.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But one of the issues of Parkinson's, and I think this has to do with a whole bunch of issues, is just the lack of knowledge. Everybody's sort of heard of it,
Right.
but nobody knows what it really is.
Right.
One of the problems with Parkinson's is that everybody's is different.
There it is. Yeah.
And so right away people go, what do you mean it's different? If you have a broken femur, you have a broken femur. You're not in 100-yard dash.
Well, and
But
even
with
cancer, you can
Parkinson's, it comes, it goes, and you're
yeah.
like,
It affects the whole body and the whole body in different ways based on genetics and everything you have built in, some life choices for sure.
mhm.
So you're right that that's why any kind of blanket understanding or blanket treatment for that matter is just absolutely ridiculous. And it points back to, I think, the need for all of us to embrace more to Parkinson's as a concept so that we can get more out there. And then B, more, as you've heard me say, and I appreciate you reading the book, more bottom up stories of people saying, well, here's what my Parkinson's is, because it may be quite different than yours or his or hers
Right.
or theirs, or, you know, I mean, and that's what the doctors need from a research standpoint. They need to hear it, not just on a chemical or, you know, a biological level, because that's only part of the puzzle. There may well be a cure, or at least a better treatment in understanding people's stories better. That's really my advocacy, is listen to
Yeah.
stories. Where is the repetition? Where are the same stories? Let's use that from a research standpoint. So anyway, my
Well, and the other thing that I find really intriguing about Parkinson's studies is people say, well, we really want really whacked out, weird phase 4 and 5 Parkinson's people. And you go, that's not me.
yeah,
I've had Parkinson's for 14 years.
yeah.
And people go, you don't have Parkinson's. You don't shake. You don't look stupid. You're in shape. And you go, what am I supposed to act stupid because I have Parkinson's?
There's
To
again
me,
the lack of education, the stigma, all of that. Look, we're over time. We're going to come back. We're going to continue this because this is
yeah.
really good and important. I think the social education, it goes back to what we started with, the social is super important. Let's come back on our next episode of the Daily Dose. Good job.
All right.